I have one shout out for you.
Yeah.
All right, there's a YouTube channel that I watch on repeat, and I watch it every week when they put new episodes out. It's the Major League Wiffle Ball channel. This is wiffle ball. This is kids playing wiffle ball, and it's the most entertaining thing you ever see. They have 8 teams in the league, and it's I think that in future episodes of Fade the Mahoney, you should throw some lines up there for some of their games.
Welcome back, everybody. Fade the Mahoney. Two things drive our content and our viewership. One is NFL. Two is Major League Wiffle Ball. Middle of November, I think. I've been searching offshore books since the middle of November after Game 5, looking for this year's odds. Finally found them today. Got them. We got Trevor Savage here, the #1 fan. Kind of creepy, but #1 Major League Wiffle Ball fan on the planet. Tell the people how much you love Major League Wiffle Ball and your bona fides.
All right. Well, first of all, I'd like to say it is important that you always say kind of creepy before you talk about Major League Wiffle Ball and my obsession with it. That's fine. I appreciate that because I do believe that to be the case also. Second of all, this feels like the first time I've been on Fade the Mahoney in months. I miss being on here. I'm very happy to be back. And
we miss you. We miss you. We miss Jody. What did Jody call us when you told her we were going to do this today?
I didn't tell her that. This is my projection.
Oh, okay.
That she said you guys are idiots.
Yep. All right.
I just assumed that to be the case.
Okay.
Okay. Major League Wiffle Ball, the greatest product on YouTube by far. Most entertainment value.
Yep.
Just incredibly talented wiffle ball players and great storylines. I mean, how can you beat it? You can't beat it. I encourage everybody to go check it out. And I would say, I would guess, I mean, it's hard to imagine that anyone else is a bigger donator of Patreon money to the MLW Wiffle Ball, because I donate, I believe it's $50 a month. No, I think they ask for $5 a month, right? Or whatever it is.
Okay.
I would imagine that $50 per month is more than the average combined amount of money that their viewers make of the 300,000 subscribers they have besides myself.
Okay. Because most of the people watching it are what, 12 and 13-year-old kids who don't have jobs? Is that what we're going with?
Exactly. Yes. I was not saying anything about the income of those people, but more so their inability to make an income.
Roger that. I got that. For those of you who haven't been introduced, first week of November, I think Game 3 of last year's World Series might be the best thing that's ever been put on YouTube.
It was great. Yes, it was wonderful.
It was very good. Our booking department is really, really good. We've gotten a lot of good guests on here, specifically the Savages. So far, striking out with getting someone from the Major League Wiffle Ball family, but hopefully after they see how we can bring sports betting gambling content into the universe, maybe we can get one of them to come on in down the road.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about aligning the views, right? I mean, just imagine it's most of the people who watch their product are young kids, right? And we have a gambling show. So you got to be aligned.
Yeah, you got to get the kids in early when it comes to sports gambling. I think that's what you were trying to say. And also that NHL preview that we did last week, that was also really good. Lots of views, great guests. And before we get into the numbers, I've got lots of numbers. We're not sponsored by this offshore site, so I'm not going to give them any credit. But they put in a lot of work to provide these numbers. Everybody, go listen to Raising the Nuts. Last week, they had a special episode with Greg Merson, who really cool guy, really likable, seems really, really intelligent. So go watch that.
That's why he'll never be on this show.
Yeah. Okay. Can you, while I'm looking up the numbers, can you explain how the season works for these squads? There's 8 teams, 2 leagues, 4 teams in each league. I'm looking at the over-under for number of wins they have. How many games do they each play?
15 total. There's 5 3-game series.
5 3-games series. So they play all 3 teams in their league and then 2 of the 4 teams out of their league. Does that sound right?
Correct.
All right. The guys who won it last year are the Diamondbacks, Downtown Diamondbacks, right? That's who won it. 15 games over under set offshore 10.5. You got any strong feelings about that?
I went under on this one. I think it's going to be close. Here's the thing. Diamondbacks obviously have the chemistry. They won the championship last year. They were dominant last year. They won 11 games last year. They went 11-4. So this number is pretty high, obviously. It's hard to win every series. They haven't lost a series. They didn't lose a series all last year. I think that'll probably happen this year. This number seems a little too high for me. I think there's a lot of Diamondbacks fans out there, which probably got this number up a lot. And it's really hard. Everybody in this league has now had some time to see Norp and Heath again. So I think we go under here. They're still going to win a lot of games. I think they're guaranteed to win 9 games. And I think they probably end up at 10.
Okay. And they beat the Wildcats in the World Series. They're lined at 9.5. What do you think about that one?
Correct. I have the over on that one. I just think it's going to be really hard to beat the Wildcats this year. I think they got pretty unlucky to lose the World Series last year. They just have a really solid lineup, and they added Ty Smith in the draft, which I think kind of went under the radar a little bit and will help them with some depth. And now that Ryan Kelly retired, he was an on-base type of guy. And now we got another season of Jackson Pearson, young kid who I think is going to have a breakout season. So I think they're going to win a ton of games. They might not lose a series this year, I think.
Oh, well. And that's Friday, just a couple days from now. That those two teams are it's a World Series rematch to start the YouTube season, so that'll be exciting.
That's going to be their biggest test of the season, and after that, I think they're going to coast. So,
of the other 6 teams, the Magic, the Cobras, the Predators, the Mallards, the Eagles, the Gators, do you have any strong feeling? I know you've got the numbers in front of you. Any of those?
I do.
Strongly about.
The team I'm the highest on is the Mallards. Their total is 7.5. That's a high total, I think. But I think it's going to go over that still. They got the number 1 pick in Jordan Robles, and there's a couple things here. He's one of the best football players of all time. So obviously, you get the number 1 pick, you get one of the best football players of all time. It can be difficult coming into this league and adjusting to the pitching, but the other hitters are going to have to adjust to his pitching as well. He's going to be a dominant force on the mound. I basically think this year the Mallards are going to be the breakout team. I think Caden Irwin also had a very tough rookie season, but I think he'll come back strong. Figuring out who their second pitcher is going to be the problem with them in the playoffs, I think. But in the regular season, when you can throw Robles 2 out of the 3 games, I think they're going to win a lot of games. So I like them over.
The
Magic,
7. Just to clarify, they're over under 7.5. So all they have to do is have a winning record. Is this your best bet?
That is my best bet of the season by far. Yes.
5-star on the Mallards.
Yes.
Okay. And then
I also. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say when they drafted Robles, the one thing I remember him is him telling everybody to go buy his jersey, go buy 2 of them.
Buy the Robles jersey, MLWmerch.com, buy it twice.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
I gets it.
All right. They got a new logo too, so you really got to get up the Mallards gear.
Replenish. All right, what else you got?
The other things I have here, I'm less optimistic on the Magic and Cobras overs. They're both at 7.5, sitting at 7.5 also.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember why I took both of those over. I think it's mostly because I'm so low on the Preds and the Gators this year. They're both at 7.5. I think I might actually flip those around. I do like the Magic over. I think Bonham and Chidwick having the full season together, their pitching, their issue is going to be hitting. Can they come through with some clutch hits? I think they're just going to be in every series though with their pitching. So I do like them being slightly over 500. I think they're going to end up 8-7.
Okay. Well, they better make the playoffs, or else Bonham will probably want to get traded again, right?
Maybe, you never know. Magic have never missed the playoffs and are routinely at the bottom of the power rankings coming into the season. So this is also a high number compared to what most people think, I think, right now. So I think you'll see people hammering the under on this, and I like the over on it. So that's where somewhere we can differentiate from the rest of the bettors there. The Cobras I also have at 7.5. I have them in here as an over, but I think I'm going to go under on that actually. Now that I think about it a little bit more, I think they're going to end up 7 and 8. So I'm going to make a slight adjustment to that. I do think the Cobras are the biggest question mark of the entire league. You have their 3rd pick overall, Sawyer Bean, coming in, who's a pitcher. Last year, their number 1 pick, Brendan Baranowski was not very good for the season, but he's a good wiffle ball player. He's had a lot of success in a bunch of tournaments, and obviously you have Drew Davis. So if you have that as your three, it'll be interesting to see. You just don't know what you're going to get from Sawyer. So another situation where the league is not seeing his pitching, so there's a good chance he could come in and be really effective right away if he has good stuff. So this is one I have no idea on, and I'm just guessing under. I could easily see them winning 10 games. I could see them winning 4 games. So Cobra's big question mark.
All right. So we liked over on the Magic, despite Bonham and his temperamental attitude. We like over on the Mallards because of the big addition with the #1 pick. Sound right?
Right. Yep. And we're going to go under on the Cobras with just the uncertainty. And, you never know what you're going to get there. The other team that I like quite a bit is the Eagles. And I have them at 7.5, and I have them over that also. So I actually think these two teams, the Mallards and the Eagles, are going to be fighting. They're going to end up probably playing each other in the playoffs, and it's going to be a battle. But it's going to be difficult for the Eagles. It's going to be difficult to know what the Eagles are going to do, depending on how Daniel Schultz takes the direction of this team. Dallas Allen is a great player. I think he's actually a great bat, as you'll see later on in the other awards that we'll get to. But I think he's going to have a huge season. And it's just going to be dependent, like that 1-2 punch of pitching between Dallas and Daniel Schultz. That's going to be tough to beat, but the hitting is where they're going to really struggle. And who are they going to have as their third guy? Are they going to stick with some of the older guys who aren't particularly very good, but are good buddies with Daniel? Or are they going to come for some of the young guns that they got? They got Landon Urgaitis or Blade Walker. I think he's hurt right now though. So their third guy is the biggest question mark there.
Okay, that seems like good opportunity in season to bet those games under if you like their pitching and aren't sure about their hitting. So keep that in mind, everybody, as we go through the season. Under on Eagles games. All right. Well, since we've been talking about teams, the championship odds on here, is this correct? Diamondbacks are even money. Are they that good? Do you think this is lined correctly?
That's actually a mistype by me. My bad. It's supposed to be 200. So it should be 200 and 225.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So plus 225 on the
Wildcats.
Plus 200 on the Diamondbacks, plus 225 on the Diamondbacks. I think it's very likely that one of these two teams wins the championship this year. I just think they're the best two teams in the league. And it's obviously, you see that I have the Magic at third odds at 1,500.
It's a huge
which is
drop
obviously very far. Yeah, huge drop off. Obviously, anything can happen in the playoffs. It's just really hard when you have such good pitching. When you have Kyle and Saylor, and I think Ty Smith can actually pitch a little bit as well. It's really hard to get past that. And it's obviously the same thing with Norp and Heath. I think they just have the best two combos. From the other teams that I like here, so the Magic are 1,500. I would never pick that right there. The Mallards at 1,750 and the Eagles at 1,750 interest me quite a bit.
Okay.
Those would be the two teams that I would think could come kind of out of nowhere to win. We didn't touch on the teams that I think are the two worst teams in the league, which are the Gators and the Preds. They are both pretty long odds at 2,000 and 3,000. And I like the under on both of their win totals, which the Preds I have at 5.5. I don't think the Preds win a series the entire season.
Yeah, and their logo isn't very good either. How are you gonna move merchandise with I don't know. I guess I'm just
the Preds under is a hot take. I'll tell you that right now.
Under 5.5.
Yes, I don't think they win a series all season, which is a bold prediction. When you have somebody like Ryan Cratch, who's been a dominant pitcher in this league for a long time, to say they're not going to win a series the entire year, I think that just goes to show you that when the other teams make big moves and make good draft picks based on talent, and you're kind of stuck making bad draft picks, if you end up like the Browns, right? The Browns are a team that makes bad draft picks. Speaking of the draft, that just happened last week, right? The NFL draft.
Lots of action on that. Who's the manager for the Preds?
Alec Warda.
Shots fired. You think maybe time to replace him?
No, I mean I think he's a good manager as a just
what
from
you
the
just
standpoint
said would contradict that.
Okay. I don't think he's a good personnel decision maker. I think he's a good asset to the league as a manager, as somebody who's been one of the originals. It has a lot of presence. But I think last year, when you look at them drafting Rudy Ramirez, who was a college baseball player, barely played at all. And this year they took Mac Holly with the second pick, who's a buddy of Ryan Cratch and Steve McGlade. They all play college baseball together. I think you're just looking at the wrong formula for success in this league, as you see the other teams adding a bunch of young kids who are wiffle ballers instead of baseball players.
Yeah, it's okay to hang out with your friends, but at some point you got to win games, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. You could see the two different directions that teams have gone. The Eagles, you got Daniel Schultz, who his team was his boys, and it was like the guys, and they have kind of gotten a little phased out of the league because they're just not as good. And he's brought in these younger kids like Dallas and Blade Walker and Landon, who are better wiffle ball players, who, as long as he gives them the playing time, they will come through. The Gators is the other big question mark in my mind. I have them at 6.5 win total, and I have them under there as well, which is it's crazy me giving them the under there when you have the same nucleus that won the World Series just the season before. It's the same players, and they added a really good piece in Reese Harris, I think. But I don't know. It's just one of those feelings that I got where I feel like these other teams have added some depth, and you still have Cheatham and Jorgensen, but I just don't know that they're as dominant as they were that season. And I think maybe that some of the sheen has worn off of their stuff.
All right. Let's move over to what do we think? MVP? I mean, obviously,
let's talk about MVP.
The name on everybody's lips is Norp. Huge season last year, best season ever, right? Pretty much.
100% best season ever, yeah.
Only 2-1 doesn't seem to be a whole lot of value there. It goes down Saylor, Kyle Schultz, Davis, the other Schultz, and then Robles from New York, and then some other ones. What are you thinking? Where's the value at there?
I think there's only two bets you can make here for MVP. Okay. You can't bet Norbert at that price. It's just not worth it.
Nope.
At 200. But you can take Robles at 1,400, right? If you think that he comes into this league and dominates, buy his jersey.
Buy the Robles jersey, MLWmerch.com, buy it twice.
He comes into this league and dominates like he's done on every other stage. Then I think there's a ton of value there at 1,400 plus 1,400. The other dark horse, very dark horse, Dallas Allen plus 3,500.
Ooh, he's way down there.
What this will depend on is Daniel Schultz giving up a couple of games to Dallas to pitch. So there has to be a couple of series where Dallas pitches 2 games instead of Daniel. And I think that might be the case. If I'm right in my thought that Dallas will improve even more in the offseason, I think he could be an unhittable pitcher. And if that's the case, and Daniel decides to give him the ball in a couple more games this season, you can easily make the case, and his bat comes around, which I think it will. You can make the case that he could be a breakout star in this league and possible MVP candidate, which is a bold prediction. I think the Eagles would have to win 10 games. I think Dallas would have to be dominant on the mound and a big hitter. So I like those two bets. No one else really interests me at all at these odds.
Okay. All right. Idea just came to me. If we could sharpen up some of the numbers on this and maybe put some annotations next to your best bets and stuff. If it's a Google Doc, maybe I can link it below for anybody who wants to follow along. Rookie of the Year market is really, really out of whack. All the money is coming in on the kid out of New York, right? I mean, you got to lay 750.
That's a tough bet to make, right? So minus 750 on Robles Rookie of the Year. I mean, I guess you'd obviously never bet that. The real value here, I think, has to be in Reese Harris at plus 750. That's really the only bet that I see here at all. Maybe taking Behan at 350, but it's probably not enough to move the needle. You're just banking on the fact that Robles gets hurt or something, which could happen, but you don't really. Robles is an old guy in this league. He's 28 years old. He's a gym teacher. It's hard. You never know what's going to happen there. So I think that Reese Harris with the Gators, will, especially with the DH rule they have now.
Oh, what's that? What is that?
So there is a DH rule now. So you can play. So the Gators are used to playing a 3-man lineup. right? When Jorgensen pitches, Jorgensen's not a great hitter, okay? So when Jorgensen pitches, and he'll pitch 2 out of 3 games, you can see Rhys Harris as the DH in those games. So they still have a 3-man lineup with Zerlag, Cheatham, and Harris. But and so that way he still gets a lot of action. He might even play in the 3rd game in place of Jorgensen. So they might actually be able to have him play a full season, and he could be a difference maker. He might be the steal of the draft, really, when you think about it. And he might have a bigger role than most of the other rookies. So I like him at plus 750.
All right. Let's hop over to pitching. Cy Young. Norp win that last year?
Yes. He won everything.
What didn't he win last year?
That's right.
Okay.
Nothing.
Even money on Norp.
Yeah.
To go back to back. Pretty
Yeah,
tough to tie your money up for that long. Anybody else you like on there other than him?
Yeah, so I mean, it's the same as the other categories. You know, I think you look at Robles at 750. It's if you think he's going to be dominant as a pitcher, then that's got to be a pretty good bet. The other one I would have, again, Dallas Allen at 950. So these are where you're getting pretty good value on your money, and you're just hoping that they can't that Dallas Allen's going to take the next step, and that Robles is going to come in hot. I think this Robles number could come down very quickly after their first matchup. If he gets out on the mound there and he's dominant, you could see that number drop a bunch, and Norp's number come up a bit because people are putting the money on Robles.
Gotcha. You got a lot of Dallas Allen stock in your portfolio.
Tons of it.
A lot of it. All right. I got 2 more categories here that this offshore book was willing to post. It's amazing the amount of work they put into this. Homers and RBIs. Again, 15 games. Norp and Saylor are both lined at 9.5 for over under. And then everybody else from 8.5 all the way down to 3.5. Looks like about 15 people are lined. You feel strongly about anybody specifically? Robles is 6.5. We got to talk about him a lot by his jersey.
Buy the Robles jersey, MLWmerch.com, buy it twice.
And Allen, your guy Allen, 3.5.
Yeah, so I think here's my hot take overall.
Okay.
I think numbers statistically will be down across the board in the league for 2 reasons. One, dominant pitching. There's a lot of great pitchers in this league now. Every team pretty much has 2 strong pitchers. And so there's not going to be these games where people can just hit home runs off of the bums that come in. Number 2 is there's more depth in the league now also. So that might lead to less at-bats, less games played for some of your stars, and therefore less statistical, things. And so last year, Saylor and Norp were tied, I believe, with 11 home runs, if I'm not mistaken. And Drew Davis came in with 10 home runs. If I were a betting man, I would just take the under on all of these, except for Robles. I have Robles at 6.5. And I think you take the over there based on talent and based on the fact that he is going to get a lot of at-bats. I think the Mallards are going to mostly do a 3-man lineup with Robles, Tommy Coughlin, and Caden Irwin. So that team is going to have a lot of at-bats. And I think when you get a lot of at-bats, you obviously have more opportunities at home runs, just how it goes. So that would be the only spot that I would look to take an over in the home run category.
All right. Remember, everybody, buy Robles' jersey.
Buy the Robles jersey, MLWmerch.com, buy it twice.
I'm going to put a link below to that whenever they make it live. I looked. I couldn't find it just yet. All right, last category, RBI. I'm guessing you're following the same idea. They probably lined this similar to last year's production, but you think everything is going to be down a little bit?
Exactly. I think you just take the under on all these. I think scoring across the league is going to be down. So I think you take the under on all these RBIs for sure.
Let me just give an example. Again, 15 games. Norp is lined at 30.5 RBI. So the sports
he led the league last year with.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. He led the league last year with 34. So yeah, and Saylor had 29 last year. I just don't. I think it's going to be down across the league. I think this is an opportunity for bettors coming in the first few series of the year before the books get a chance to adjust. Just bet the under on all the games.
All right. All right. So starting on Friday, May 6th is the first series. And then they drop a series every Friday. That's how their schedule works, right? And
That's correct. Yeah.
starts May and runs all the way through mid-November, depending on how long the World Series goes. Your thoughts? There's rumors, so much depth, so many good players, rumors of expansion. What do you think? What have you heard?
Yeah, 100. I think it's going to happen next season. I think the way that I view this is that they brought in a bunch of these young kids in this draft, right? I think that you'll see the model for success here is to have kids play together that like each other, that have grown up together. That's, you've seen that with the Gators. You're seeing that now with the Magic. That's why Bonham and Chidwick are together. So I would not be surprised if you see something where the younger kids on the Eagles disband and one of them becomes a captain somewhere. The younger kids on the other teams become captain. What's up, Jody? I'll take it in a minute. You want to say hi to everybody on Fade the Mahoney? Okay.
Hi, Jody.
No, it's fine. Mike Jojo said hi. No, I don't know. So yeah, I would not be surprised to see them add at least 2 teams in the offseason, the following offseason, maybe up to 4, depending on how many of these other young kids they have come in. A couple of these kids that got drafted this year have their own leagues as well. So then if you start to pick from those player pools as well, I think you could see this league getting up to, 8 to 10 to 12 team league at some point. It seems natural progression.
All right, everybody, watch the draft episode that they posted a couple weeks ago. Watch the 30 for 30 they posted about 3 or 4 weeks ago, recapping last season. Watch the sizzle reel commercial that they just posted. It's just excellent stuff. But most importantly, go back to the middle of November and find game 3. I think it was the first week of November. It's even better than Fade the Mahoney. It is so good.
They also have 10 years worth of content you can catch up on, which is what I did during the pandemic. And while I was grinding poker, I was just watching every MLW video. That's the way to go. There's also something else I wanted to say, but now I forgot it because I'm an old man.
Mildly creepy, the amount of time you watch. Isn't that the term? Mildly creepy. All right. Is there any,
I know what I was going to say. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Pretty awesome thing this year. There's going to be 3 of the series that take place outside of Michigan. So normally they play at the Meadows in Michigan. That's their home field.
Yep.
And last year they had a series in Oklahoma. And this year they're going to have 3. My phone's ringing now. That's great.
I saw the screenshot that they sent out that denoted that they were out of state, but I didn't see that they posted where they were. Do you have that information?
They have not posted where. The matchups are the Pacific Predators versus the Western Wildcats, the Midwest Mallards versus the Great Lakes Gators, and the Downtown Diamondbacks against the Coastal Cobras. I have a hunch that one of these series will be in New York somewhere. Just my guess.
And that would probably be the series with the Mallards involved. Is that a good read?
That's my guess. That's my guess. And wouldn't be surprised if one of these was in Oklahoma again. Seems like that's it was a great event for them. And then maybe another one at one of their other locations that they have gone to for their tournaments.
They've done some stuff in Illinois, right?
Yeah.
Haven't they? Yeah.
Midwest Slugfest.
If they do if one of those series is in Illinois, maybe we can do a Fade the Mahoney meetup at.
We should totally listen. This is kind of creepy, but whatever. Everything's kind of creepy. You, me, and the E-Donk should go play in one of the tournaments in Illinois, and because you can play. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can play. We'll get shellacked, I'm sure, but it would be a lot of fun.
There is no chance I would ever make contact with any of those drop balls or whatever. Yeah, that'd be fun.
And I can imagine E-Donk being a little overserved playing wiffle ball with the kids.
He would have a beer in his hand at all time if it was allowed. All right. That was a pretty comprehensive, perhaps the most comprehensive Major League Wiffle Ball preseason sports gambling preview ever. Maybe.
Gotta be.
maybe.
Gotta be. If anybody else has done it better, please send it to me because it's not possible.
All right. You and I got to talk offline about updating the spreadsheet. That's it. I hope you enjoyed the NHL preview last week. If you guys see this, if you guys can figure out what that is, a little hint of something coming up real soon. That's all I got. You got anything else you want to say to the people?
Watch MLW. It's the best.
Watch MLW. And when you're betting on MLW, as you should be, good gambling, everybody.
Yeah. If anybody wants to gamble on it, please contact me. I can point you to the booking department.
All right. Good gambling, everybody.